The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Up in the top right corner of the screen there for you. That's where you go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. There's no one that will take better care of you. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same on this show every single day. We have a good show planned for you today. We're going to recap last night's action, of course, and see what was going on the volleyball court, on the soccer pitch, all that fun stuff. We also have a player profile that we're going to feature for you guys. Bailey Walters. I said she was going to be featured after Brie Littell, and she's going to be featured on today's episode of Running Point. Her player profile recorded earlier this week. A really great interview. We'll talk a little bit more about Bailey and what she's been doing when we get closer to that. But let's hop on to the scoreboard on ysnlive.com and see what was going on a night ago. We'll pop it up, and we will also remind you, like we do every day, that the scoreboard on YSN is brought to you by our good friends over at Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. This is a great tool for YSN fans if you want to quickly check the scores, or maybe you're watching a broadcast and you want to see what your rival is doing or the other teams in the standing are doing, or maybe you're at a game and you don't want to look down on your phone for too long, but you just want to see the score of another game. This scoreboard on ysnlive.com is a great tool, and we couldn't do it without the wonderful sponsorship of Burnett's Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. So make sure to show them some love if you love our scoreboard on ysnlive.com. Let's go into the volleyball scores from last night, as it was a midweek contest between all these teams. A lot of non-conference games. East got the win over the Urban Scholars in straight sets, a sweep for East. We saw Brookfield boys soccer. Actually, there's only one row of volleyball. Let's do volleyball first. We saw Girard sweep Middle Ridge. I was at this game. Very close, competitive game. The scores were 25-17, 25-22, 25-22. So that tells you that these two teams were pretty close, but there were key difference makers for Girard. I thought one of the big ones was simply that Girard was just a little bit more consistent. You saw Middle Ridge just have more flashes of really good, and then it would go away for a little bit. They lost two 5-point leads in sets 2 and 3. They were up 13-8 in both, and Girard came back from both those points, both those point deficits, and got the win. Down the stretch, especially in set 3, when it looked like, okay, Middle Ridge might be able to pull this off, there were some untimely errors as well from the Rams. So it was just those little things that win you close games against good teams, that the Rams struggled with last night. Girard, they had their fair share of mistakes. I'm not going to say that they played perfectly, but it seemed like when it was crunch time, when the set was on the line, when the momentum could have been turned in those big moments in the volleyball match, Girard consistently stepped up every single time. Brie Littell had a good night, 15 kills for her on the day. Nico Cochran was right behind her with 11. She had a great day. She was the YSN player of the game for her attributes, especially in set 2. When they were down 13-8, it was looking like Middle Ridge might tie up the match at one set apiece. Nico Cochran came in and got 6 kills in that set. 6 of her 11 kills came in one set. It was set 2. Big one there for Gerard as they move on to continue league play tonight. They're going to be in Hubbard. That's a very scrappy Hubbard defense. If you ever see Hubbard play volleyball, they are all over the floor. They're playing defense really, really well. It's hard to get a ball down. So Gerard's going to have to be very mentally tough tonight when they go into Hubbard and they play a team that plays really strong defense against him. When you look at Middle Ridge and kind of the nights they had, Ava Hewlett had a great night. She had a double-double with kills and digs. Faith Schneider, good night as well from the right-hand side especially. I think Middle Ridge just needs a little bit more out of the middle. Gianna Wilson had glimpses of really, really good play, but they need to get the middle a little bit more involved in their offense because that's one of Gerard's question marks. What's their middle going to do? Where's their middle? And they could have attacked the middle of the net all night, but they didn't have a middle themselves. They're not a tall team. So figuring that out, trying to get Gianna Wilson a little bit more involved would be beneficial for the Rams' offense going forward. Samantha Aulette played really well. She's one. I will stand by it. She's one of the best setters in the YSN family. She's the reigning YSN setter of the year for a reason. It wasn't something we just gave out on a whim. She definitely put up the numbers, and she definitely passes the eye test for all the tools you need for a setter. So I think when you have that and you have strong hitters, I think there are just little things Middle Ridge needs to fix. Not the panic button at all, because their losses so far this year have been Western Reserve in 5, who is undefeated right now. They've lost to Division III absolute powerhouse Smithville, who's probably going to have a good chance winning the region in Barberton if they can get past Mineral Lake Catholic. Let's just be honest, Mineral Lake Catholic is a monster. And then they also have lost to Gerard in 3. 3 very competitive sets. So not terrible losses for Middle Ridge, not ones that you're going to, lose sleep over, but losses nonetheless and things that they need to fix. They have a rematch with Western Reserve next week, and they need to take as much momentum as possible into that. They're going to have to win on the road if they want any chance of at least sharing an MVAC championship with the Blue Devils. So it'll be interesting to see how Middle Ridge, how they're able to bounce back and get momentum in conference play. They're going to be at McDonald tomorrow. Or I should say tonight. They were at McDonald tomorrow yesterday. So today is yesterday's tomorrow. And so they're at McDonald tonight. Columbiana swept Jackson Milton 3-0. A big day for Ellie Jackson. She had a triple-double for the Clippers. Heartland Christian got the win over Latonia in straight sets. Wellsville still dominant as ever in the EOAC. They get the win over East Palestine. Straight set sweep there. Mooney and Salem played a pretty intense volleyball game. Mooney got the win, though. 2 wins in 2 nights for the Cardinals. They're starting to build a little bit of steam as they beat Salem in 4 sets. Western Reserve beat Lowville in 3 sets. The first set was close, 25-20, and then as Ty Bartel so eloquently put it in our chat, in our group chat with volleyball score updates, he said Western Reserve got angry. And the other 2 sets were not that competitive. But the first set, Lowville played pretty well. They're going to have to try to bottle that up and take it into the rest of their conference schedule as they gear up for more games down the stretch. We'll go to boys soccer. Garrettsville Garfield gets the win 5-2 over Brookfield. We see Newton Falls and Jackson Milton fight to a tie, 4-4. That's a really good offensive output for both teams. In that one, Middle Ridge gets edged out by Camel, 2-1, the final score there. We saw Waterloo lose to Champion 1-0, a tough one for the Vikings. Crestview was able to beat Liberty, double them up 6-3. We go to the girls' side. We scroll over to make sure we can see these numbers. Let's see if it works today. It does. Well, It does a little. You can see those numbers. Oh, whoa. Work today. We're all good. We'll go to girls soccer. Badger beats Ursuline by 1-0, the final score there. Champions offense unloads on Waterloo 5-2, the final score for you on that one. Warren JFK. Ooh, that is a big number. 14-0. They beat St. Thomas Aquinas, acting like they're playing American football instead of football. 14 is a big number for soccer, of course. JFK puts it up and gets the win. Hoban falls to Hathaway Brown. No, that's a 7. I'm sorry. They beat Hathaway Brown 7-2. A good one in Poland as Hubbard gave the Bulldogs all they wanted. Poland ends up coming out on top though, 3-2. That's a big one in the NE8 going forward. That could really pay dividends for Poland going forward in the conference. West Branch was all over Minerva. Chloe Dennison scored 4 goals. West Branch wins 11-0. Final score there. Lakeview gets all over Girard 6-1. The final score. A very young Lakeview team that is building off the success of last year. They look really good. Canfield girls still undefeated as they beat Cardinal Mooney 8-1. The final score there. Macy Traporser 4 goals on the night for her. Also an assist as she had a wonderful day. Canfield outshot Cardinal Mooney 24-2. So that is a domination in the very best way you could describe a domination on the soccer field was what Canfield did to Mooney last night. But pretty impressive. They only got 2 shots on goal, and one of them was a goal. So that's pretty impressive. The only bright spot for Mooney was that. We saw Springfield beat Newton Falls 8-0. Springfield gets the win. Newton Falls still looking for their first win of the year. Alliance edges past Salem 3-1, the final score there in the EBC. Howland goes to Boardman and they win 4-3, final score there in the AAC. Fitch edges Warren Harding, a tough one, 1-0. 1 goal is all you need if your defense pitches to shut out. South Range fell to Struthers 5-1, the final score there. And then Garrettsville Garfield ties with Brookfield 2-2, final score there in girls soccer. So that does it for your recap of last night. All the scores there. Once again, everything can be found on the Ysn scoreboard page, brought to you by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. ysnlive.com/scores is where you can find it. Let's hop into today's schedule and see what games are going to be being played tonight. And then later on in the show, we'll tell you what games will be on the network and who will be out there covering them. Busy night for volleyball, like Tuesdays and Thursdays usually are. Carrollton goes to West Branch tonight. Girard back in league play after the big win over Mineral Ridge. They go to Hubbard. LeBray will be at Liberty. Wyndham goes to Badger. East Palestine looks to get a big win as they travel to Valley Christian. Lakeview goes to Poland tonight to play. McDonald will be at Mineral Ridge trying to get a big win and throw a monkey wrench into the MVAC. Struthers goes to Niles tonight. Back to the top, Marlington going to Salem. Marlington looks just as good as they have in the last 4 years in volleyball. The Dukes have really owned girls' sports in the EBC for the last 4 or 5 years. And that senior class right now, very good at volleyball. So Salem has a tall task for sure with the Dukes. A big one in the AAC is Canfield takes on Fitch. This has been the 2 teams that it has come down to the last couple years. Fitch going to Canfield first. This is weird because the last 2 seasons it's been at Canfield second. So it was really the league championship at Canfield the last 2 seasons. But this year, Fitch goes to Canfield first, and then they'll play each other at Fitch a little bit later. So that should be a fun one. Canfield trying to host Fitch, trying to knock off the undefeated Falcons. Lowville will stay at home and host Waterloo tonight. Camel looks to stay hot as they host Brookfield. Garrettsville Garfield goes to Newton Falls. The Tigers trying to bounce back from that tough loss against Crestview. Latonia goes to United tonight. Warren JFK hosting Rootstown. Howland hosting Warren Harding in the AAC play. We go back to the top. Crestview looks to stay undefeated and looks to keep their set win streak alive in the MVAC. They haven't lost a set inside the league since Brookfield won a set, didn't beat them in the match, but won one set 2 seasons ago. So it's been over a season since Crestview lost a set inside the MVAC. Champion looking to change all that. They're a young upcoming team. They host Crestview tonight. 7 o'clock is your start time. I should say 5:30 KV. 6:30, I'm sorry. 6:30 is your start time. Cardinal Mooney looks to make it 3 wins in 3 nights. They go to Boardman. Southern looks to stay alive in the EOAC. They got to beat Wellsville to do it on the road. Wellsville has won more than 70 straight EOAC games, so tall mountain to climb for Southern, but if they want any kind of hope to win the EOAC, they have to beat Wellsville on the road tonight. Columbiana travels to Lisbon, who gave Wellsville a little bit of a fight, so don't sleep on the Blue Devils if you're a Clipper fan, as Wellsville's looming on that schedule. You can't sleep on the Blue Devils before you get there. Heartland Christian will go to Ursuline. Ursuline playing really well right now. St. John hosting Matthews. Springfield goes to Western Reserve. I want to remind everybody that our ace photographer, Gary Leininger, will be at this game in Western Reserve. So if you're a Blue Devil fan, if you're a Tiger fan, you can check out our YSN Smug Mug. After the game tonight, check out some awesome pictures by our ace photographer, Gary Leininger. He'll have that all set up for you to purchase pictures tonight after the game. So make sure to check that out. And then last but not least, in volleyball, Mohawk continues their start of the season as they host Elwood City. PA starting this week in volleyball. We mosey on over to the soccer pitch as we have a couple of boys' games and one girls' game tonight to talk about. As Howland on the boys looking to stay dominant in the AAC, they host Boardman. A big one is Canfield and Crestview. That's a big non-conference matchup. Should be a fun one in Crestview. Austintown Fitch hosting Warren Harding. Hubbard will host Ursuline. And then Poland and Lakeview squared up in 88 conference play as the Poland boys look to get a big win on the road. One girls soccer game tonight. St. Clairsville will travel to Beaver Local. That is a 7 p.m. kickoff for you there. So that's what the night looks like tonight as far as what our YSN teams are doing on the volleyball court, on the soccer pitch. Should be a fun one. A little bit later on the show when we close it out, we will go over who will be where and what games you can see on the network. Should be a fun time. But right now, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we will feature a player profile interview with Gerard Setter, Bailey Walters. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up next on Running Point. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have much to be thankful for. We are proud of the Comco culture as we serve our customers with Comco Care with our premier customer service, quality parts, and on-time delivery. The partnerships we have with our customers and our community are second to none. We thank you for your continued support. We are proud to be part of this community and will continue to offer great jobs for great people.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Your culinary adventure awaits at Legends Food and Drink. Experience a welcoming ambiance while you explore our appetizing menu featuring over 20 meals under $20 and over 30 lunches for $12 or less. Our private dining room seat between 10 and 20 at no additional cost. And don't forget our spacious 35-seat bar for your favorite sporting event. Book your special occasion in our elegant banquet room that seats up to 150 comfortably. Legends Food and Drink, a taste you'll remember. Market Street and Route 224 in Boardman.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You can see them in the top right corner of your screen there. And this month, Greenwood Chevrolet will be partnering with Penn Gaming's Hollywood Gaming in Austintown to give away a Chevy Silverado. They will be offering a test drive incentive throughout September for $25 in free play at Hollywood Gaming to anyone who test drives a new Chevy vehicle. So stop into Greenwood Chevrolet. You obviously have to be 21 years or older, and that's a big deal. Test drive a Chevy and get a $25 bonus play for the casino over there in Austintown. So great deal though there for Greenwood. And hey, you could win a brand new Chevy Silverado, which no one would ever say no to, I don't think. I think if you're sane and someone says, hey, here's a pickup truck for free, don't think they would be like, nah, not for it. Not for me. I might, because I can't drive, but normal people that can drive, yeah, absolutely. You know what? I'll take it. I have plenty of people in my life that can drive. I take that away. Here, free car for my brother, free car for my mom. Who cares? Let's do it. Welcome back to Running Point now that we've gotten that out of the way, and we always want to give a plug to Greenwood Chevrolet. We thank them for their constant support and their sponsorship of this show. They've been doing it since day one. We've had a lot of twists and turns and changes to Running Point over the years. A lot of opportunities, honestly, for them to dip out, But they've always been with us. They always believed in what this show can be, and they've been our presenting sponsor since day one, and we thank them for doing that. And I thank them for doing that as someone that has poured a lot into this show. They stay efficient, so we can stay efficient, right? Efficiency is key at Greenwood Chevrolet. It's key at YSN. Let's go into our player profile interview that we promised today. We're going to feature Bailey Walters, the setter for Girard. Here is her player profile, recorded a couple of days ago. You can also find it on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig here with a Girard volleyball player profile. I am joined by Bailey Walters. Bailey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
You got it. And Bailey, one of the things this year that everyone's got to know about you is you transition into a setter position. And talking to Coach Walters before the season and his season preview, it was just a clear decision. Like you were the best option for that spot, and he put you there. You've set before for this team, and you get back to this position. What's it been like to transition back to a setter and to really help your hitters have someone that they're really comfortable with already to shine the best they can?
It's different. It brings you back to my freshman year when I was sitting at 6'2" with Allie Durkin. Obviously losing Allie meant that we didn't really have another setter coming up, so I fit the position best according to my coach, and I was ready to do whatever. Anywhere that I'm needed, I'll play. It doesn't really matter to me.
When you kind of got, that was probably a reality to you pretty quick. When you knew that Allie was graduating, it was probably in the back of your mind that you might have to set again this year. How did you kind of get yourself back in that mindset? I know you kind of were able to turn off the setting mindset a little bit as a libero, but now you kind of get back into that mindset of trying to read the hitters and trying to get your hitters in the right spots and everything. How did you kind of get back into that leadership mindset that you need to be as a setter?
I definitely got back into it during my club season. My club season, I got to set a 5-1 for my team. So it helped me get back into like the setting groove and being able to play front row and block. I'd never played front row before, so that was new for me, but having to learn how to block and transition, all that. But I think my club season definitely helped me the most because it got me back into the swing of things, being able to set again and like knowing where to go.
Now, I saw you for the first time last night live as a new setter. You were able to get some blocks. What's it been like to develop yourself as a presence at the net and a part of that net defense of this team?
It's fun. I've always wanted to play front row, but it's just never been where I've been put. But it's a lot of fun getting a block. It feels so good. I never knew how it felt, but it feels amazing. I just think it's really fun to be able to be at the net.
It's a whole new world for Bailey Walters. I want to talk about the bond that you have with these teammates. Obviously, there's a lot of new faces on this team, some returning faces as well. What's it been like to see either players have their first year of varsity or step into bigger roles as varsity this year and kind of be in the same position you were in not too long ago?
It's been really fun. Nico's been hitting outside this year. She's been doing an amazing job. Kind of feeling experience. She played right side last year, but being an outside, she's been doing an amazing job. Kira Bell is our libero. She's been doing amazing. Her hustle is amazing. And then Kylie, Molly, their defense, amazing. Their serve receive, amazing. They've been doing so good. And then Christina Oleski and Erica Teeter on the right side. They've been getting a lot of touches. They've been able to transition well. And then obviously Alexis Peaton, we've been able to run a lot with her. And Brooke Perry in the middle. She got long arms, great high touch. She's been getting a lot of touches as well. So I think we've been doing pretty good.
What kind of advice were you giving those players? Obviously, you can lean on your own experience of being someone that was kind of thrown into the varsity level. What kind of advice have you given to the players that are new to the varsity level themselves this year?
I tell them to play their game. Don't think just because it's varsity, it's so much bigger, better, whatever. Just play your game, focus on yourself, do the best you can do while supporting your team at the same time. And try not to overthink anything. Just play your game, do the best you can, play the best of your ability, and that's all that matters. And have fun, obviously.
What about coaching up Kira Bell a little bit in the libero position? Obviously, that's one that takes a lot of mental toughness to be back there as a libero. You get hit hard at. What kind of things have you done to help her grow as a libero?
I've just told her how much her hustle is important. She goes for everything, and that's what I love to see. Being in the back row, going for everything, being able to read your hitters is such a big part of being libero, and she's been doing an amazing job at reading and diving for everything, going for everything, getting her hands on everything that's been hit at her. She's been doing an amazing job.
People that see your last name will obviously quickly understand that Coach Walters doubles as your coach and your dad. What's it been like to have that dynamic to not just have your coach there, but also have your father there and to be able to maybe take some volleyball home every now and then and have someone that you can always go to for advice if you're struggling with something?
It's nice to always have him there. Like, I can always just go down. Like, if I'm ever having a problem with how I'm playing, I can just ask him. Obviously it gets irritating at times because you see him every day, so when he tells you to do stuff, you might go in, but it's honestly overall really good because you get to hear like most of like how I've been playing or like the best results or how anything that he can tell me. I get like the most time with him, so honestly I think it helps a lot with coaching.
A lot of coaches that coach their son or daughter, they talk about how they want to balance the life of a coach and the life of a father and try to leave the coaching in the gym and bring the fathership to the home. I want you to grade your dad. Putting you on the spot, how good of a job does he do at balancing those two things and trying to leave one there and leave the other, at the other spot?
I honestly, he does pretty good. He likes, I mean, it's always the drive home after practice or games is what's the most. But once we get home, he's back into dad mode. He tells me like, all the household stuff to do. But on the court, I mean, I think I say he does a pretty good job at leaving what's on the court. Except the drive home. The drive home is always like,
drive is an extension of the practice, right? Once you pull the drive, we're home, but we're not home yet, so I'm going to let you hear it. What do you think are some things about Coach Walters that, like, you can tell us? Obviously, you know him better than anybody, even better, probably better than the players on your team. What are some things about him that we don't get to know because we only see him on the sidelines during games?
He's such an amazing coach. He's been coaching me basically my whole life. He does an amazing job at balancing, coaching and like understanding. He will always be so understanding of like if you feel a certain way or if you need help. And he can read his players, so he knows what you take in best coaching wise. So if you're the type of athlete that if you need to be like yelled at to put you in your place, he'll know that. Or if yelling like makes you die down a little bit, he'll understand like he has to talk to you calm and slowly. Or like say you need help, like if he tells you something on the court or off the court, whatever helps better. Like he can tell if he tells you something right then and there, you'll fix it. But if he tells you after, like you'll forget. He's really good at reading his athletes differently and like what helps them most is what I'd say.
Everyone needs to be coached differently. What kind of coaching do you like? What gets you fired up? What gets you into the right spot?
I feel like as long as I'm told what to do while it's happening, he can't come up to me after a game and say you did this wrong because I will completely forget. But if I mess up in the moment he tells me, I'll fix it right then and there and I'll think about it. Like, okay, I need to do this. It'll be in the back of my head. And also I need to be yelled at a little bit because if he says it like slowly, I'll be like, I can just push it off. When he yells at me, it's like, okay, I need to do this now. Like I need to kick in. So I feel like that's what helps me most.
When you think about the thing that's special about volleyball players is you play one game and then you have a game the next day. So you really don't get the time in the gym to correct maybe some mistakes or some things you saw from the game before. How do you adjust those things? How do you see something? Okay, I wasn't doing this well last night. I have to make those adjustments, but we have a game today. So I have to really make those adjustments in warm-ups or just make them in the game that we are playing tonight.
I always just keep it in the back of my head. Like if I mess up once in a game, that mess up will be in the back of my head. I won't let it affect me, but I'll be thinking the entire time, like, okay, I need to be here, I need to be there. Or the entire, like while the play's going on in the back of my head, I'll be saying it over and over again, like I need to cover here, I need to cover here, or I need to go here, like I need to push the ball here, push the ball here. I always keep it in the back of my head.
Volleyball is a grind. You guys play a lot of games in a small amount of time, which means you have to put so much time into it. You love it so much. What do you love so much about the sport of volleyball?
I love the team aspect. I love being able to just become so close with our team and have like be able to play with your friends on a court. I think is so much fun. The hype, the cheering, like getting excited, hyping everyone up, cheering everyone on, I think is so much fun. And obviously the student section makes it a lot of fun, all the cheering and all the like school hype that we get. But mostly I just like the team aspect. I love playing as a team. I love hyping everyone up, cheering everyone on, like seeing what everyone can do in their ability.
You segue into the next question perfectly because you got to ask about the student section that you guys get at Girard. It's very unique. Not a lot of volleyball teams get the student section that you do. What's it like to you and their teammates to know that not just the community, not just the parents, but the actual classmates that you go to school with have your back and show up for you guys in home games?
It feels really nice knowing that they actually care about the sport of volleyball. Obviously with the senior class graduating, they're probably our biggest class. They would always support, but our seniors this year are definitely a loud group. They love coming, they love supporting every sport. They're really good cheers. It feels really nice to just know that they like watching and they like paying attention and like understanding what's going on or trying to learn how the sport works at least. But it's a lot of fun.
Let me tell you, they have your back. When you broke the record for assists in a match, we had like 5 or 6 messages on social media making sure that we knew that happened and that we got it covered. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about breaking records and what that meant to you. Obviously, it was something that you didn't know at the time, Coach had to go out and watch the film personally and, confirm that you broke the record. So when you found it out that, yes, you're in the record books, your name's going to be penciled in there for hopefully years to come, what was that like for you?
It felt nice. It was really cool, especially being my first year coming back to setting. Like, I think it was really cool. And I'm glad that I did it with Bree. She obviously was one that made it happen. She had such an amazing game against East Liverpool. But I just felt really cool. Like, my first year back setting, I was able to set a school record. And, I mean, yeah, that's about it. I think it's really funny that I beat Haley Spall's. It was Haley Spall's record, which is our, assistant coach or freshman. But I think it's funny that I was able to overtake her because she came up to me after, and she was like, the next game, she was like, "Do you know whose record you beat that night?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I do. Bree Littell had 37 kills in that game. I can't even imagine seeing someone go off like that as a setter, as someone that was putting the ball up for her. What was it like to see your hitter have a day like that where it seemed like everything she was swinging at was going down and there was no stopping her at all?
It was amazing. It got me so hyped up. I was so excited for her. I was cheering her on. Every point she got, I was jumping up, cheering, clapping, everything. I don't know, just hyped up the game so much. It made the energy so much higher. Her playing well made everyone else excited and happy and loud. It was really cool though. I'm really glad I was able to set that.
That was probably not on your radar as a tangible personal goal this year. You probably weren't thinking about breaking the assist record. Maybe you were. Maybe you looked at that number and said, that's breakable. I can do that. But what were some other personal goals that you set for yourself coming into this year as a new setter, as someone that wanted to make an impact on this team?
Coming into this year, honestly, I just want to be able to be more consistent with my sets and be able to understand each of my players or each of my teammates, where they like the ball. Some like them higher, lower, faster, slower. I feel like that's something I need to work on. And then my biggest personal goal is probably 1,000 assists for this season. It's going to be hard to reach, but with my freshman year, I think I had 420, and then last year I had 60 something. So, and last year Ali Durkin, setting a 5-1, was able to get 800 assists. So I feel like it's definitely doable, but that's probably up there for my goals.
I mean, dang it, you already broke a record for most of the match. So you do stuff like that consistently, you'll break it no problem. I know you miss being a libero. I know you miss being back there. So when you're in the back row and you have the chance to get back to those defensive routes, defensive routes, I should say, what's that like for you to still focus on defense and still take pride in to be able to go on the ground and get that big dig for your team?
It feels nice. It brings me back to being libero. It'll always be my favorite position. I always love being in the back row. As much fun as the front row is, I love being a back row player. I love being able to read hitters and dig up what I can. But, I mean, it's fine. Front row is fine, but I will always love being able to dig balls, play back row. And whenever I get a good dig, it just brings me back to being able to be libero.
So you've experienced a block now. You've gotten better as a blocker. You're obviously getting a lot of assists. You dig well. What is the best feeling in volleyball for you? Which one is the one that gives you the most juice?
The one that gives me, I'd definitely say setting up Bree or Nico for a big kill, especially when the game's close. It feels amazing. Being able to see them go up and kill it off of my set, it just feels so good, and I love hyping them up afterwards. I think it's a lot of fun. Setter dumps are fun too, but definitely.
Well, yeah. When you can get that kill category, put in that perfect corner like you did a couple of times a night ago, yeah, that's got to feel pretty good too.
Yeah, it does. It does.
When you think about everything this team is capable of and the conversations that are had between games and some of the things that this team talks about, what they can do this year, what do you think, are some tangible team goals? We talked about personal goals. What are some things that this team has that you think they can do before the season's over?
I feel like, honestly, we've been doing really well. I feel like communication is key. Being able to pick each other up is key. And understanding, where to go in our positions. We've been doing a really good job, but I feel like overall, just working as a team, I feel like we can go really far if we just play the best of our abilities all together and continue to stay positive with each other. Because I feel like we're all athletes that, if you're positive, everyone's going to be, happy and play well on the court. But if anyone's negative, it kind of brings the energy down. But I feel like as long as we are staying positive and hyping each other up, getting excited, we're going to go really far in this season.
All right, Bailey, before we let you go, I'm going to give you the chance to kind of shout out your support system and the people that are in your corner and anyone that's in your life that you think deserves a shout out on this interview. I'm going to give you the time to do that.
Definitely Brie Littell. We've been playing together since we were 11, 12 years old, playing on a club team. She's doing such an amazing job this season in every aspect of the game. Serve, receive, passing, hitting, obviously. Nico stepped up a lot this season, going from right side to outside. She's been doing an amazing job with all the pressure she's had to take in. Our underclassmen, Brooke and Kira, they've been doing a great job of stepping up into the varsity level. They've been doing a really good job on their part and playing the position they need to. Alexis Peaton, also coming up to varsity, has been doing an amazing job blocking and hitting and being a great team player overall. And then our other seniors, Erica, Christina, Molly, Kylie, have all been doing a great job stepping up and playing as a team. They've been doing a really good job in their position, and I'm honestly really proud of how we're doing.
All right, Bailey, we thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best of luck, and we will see you again real soon.
Of course, thank you.
That is Bailey Walters, the setter now for Girard. Was a setter her freshman year, libero her sophomore year, and now a setter this year. But a little bit of different situation, right? Because in her freshman year, she was running a 6'2" with Allison Durkin. And for volleyball, non-volleyball fans, 6'2" just means that you're always in the back row for a setter. So you're rotating your 3 back row rotations, and then you rotate out, and the new setter comes in and replaces you, so the team can always have 3 hitters in the front row, and you're not taking a hitter spot away with the setter in the front row. So you have 2 setters rotate in. So Bailey Walters in her freshman year split the setting time with Allie Durkin. Last year, she went to libero. Durkin set a 5-1. This year, it's Bailey Walters setting the 5-1. So she has a lot of opportunities to get a lot of assists. Like she said, Allison Durkin had almost 850. I think she was right under 850 assists last year, setting both Lauren Pallone and Brie Littell so much. So Bailey Walters has a really good chance to maybe get 1,000 this year, but definitely get 1,000 next year as she's a junior. Talking to Phil Walters last night before the Middle Ridge game, he thinks it's definitely an opportunity for her to get 1,000 as a junior. But when I talk with her, and one of the things I love about this mentality, she went from libero, which is a position that she loved. Like, she loved being libero. It's her spot. It's where she felt the most comfortable. And, you come into a summer where you graduate a great setter like Allison Durkin out of Girard. Phil Walters, one of the best volleyball minds you'll ever meet. I think he immediately knew, like, we don't have a setter anymore, and Bailey, you're the best fit. Like, you have the best hands in the team. You have the best ball handling skills. We need you to be a setter. We need you to be a 5-1 setter. You can still play defense in the back row. Definitely has been able to block this year a few times. Got 1 block last night against Middle Ridge. So definitely not a liability in the front row, and a very good defender in the back row. And then obviously can set up the team really well. And never missed a beat. Said, okay, I'm going to put my setting hat back on. Worked with her hitters. Already had a little bit of a flow with them from her freshman year. And, to be honest, she set a little bit last year too, because as a libero, you're kind of the secondary setter. When teams attack your setter and Allison Durkin had to take the first touch, Bailey Walters would be there for the set. That's why she had about 70 assists last year, because she was prone to have to be put in positions where she had to set. So when you look at all that and you look at the fact that that's a blessing, because most teams, if they graduate a setter, they're bringing in someone brand new. They're bringing in someone off a JV or a freshman, or someone that's not set at this level before, doesn't know the hitters, has to work out a relationship with the hitters, work out a flow with the hitters, know where the hitters like to be set, things like that. And Girard never had to do those growing pain things, because Bailey Walters has set these guys before, knows where they like to be set them last year as a libero every now and then. So she kind of understands the whole position. So there weren't nearly as many growing pains. I'm sure the only growing pain from Bailey Walters stepping back into the center position this year was probably getting her into the 5-1 mentality. I mean, the 5-1 mentality after setting a 6-2 offense her freshman season. So, that changes a little bit of things, setting from everywhere on the floor and obviously getting her ready to go as far as her net defense goes and being able to block, being able to get a swing up when she has to out of the back row, which she did a couple of times last year. And then as a front row setter, you have to be a little bit more aggressive, where you have to do those dump overs every now and then to keep the blockers honest and keep the defense honest. So those are probably the little things that she had to get accustomed to. But as far as the big things that really matter, which are relationship with your hitters, know your hitters' rhythm, know where they like to be set. You can't go anywhere unless you have a setter that understands that. And Bailey already came into this year knowing all of that, knowing all of those things that she has to know. So the little fine details that they probably had to fine tune over the summer, not nearly as big as most teams that have to replace a setter after graduation. So Gerard got a little bit of a blessing in Bailey Walter still being on the roster for 2 more years because she is just a junior graduating in 2025. And what a great conversation with her. I hope you enjoyed it. We will continue to get players throughout the entire run of Running Point, throughout the entire volleyball season. We already had some soccer players. I have West Branch soccer in the can that we're going to have played next week. We have Bree Thomas coming up for you, and we also have West Branch goalkeeper Zoe Sanders. So soccer fans, we haven't forgot about you. We're getting soccer interviews this year as well. And then, of course, we'll be hitting volleyball. Just got some Ashtabula volleyball players this morning. So Ashtabula volleyball fans, stay tuned because we got some love coming your way as well. We do not say no to any interviews. If you want profiled by YSN, send us a message. Hey, don't miss me. I want to be interviewed. I want my story to be told. We don't say no. If you're a YSN member, if you're a YSN school, and you have a player that you think their story needs to be told, hit us up. I will gladly set up the interview, or we'll find someone that will, and we'll get you covered. We will never say no to an interview. Definitely never say no to content. Content on the site is key. That we always have that saying. It's if we had a chalkboard, like the coaches' chalkboard where they write a saying for the season up there, for the whole year. Our chalkboard at YSN would say content is king, right? Because we're all about getting content on that website as much as possible. We're efficient with that. We try to be as efficient as possible with it. So, if you are out there, you want to be interviewed, you have someone that wants to be interviewed on a YSN family school, reach out to us. We already had a couple of interviews scheduled that way. We literally had people reach out and say, hey, you can't miss this player. They have to be interviewed. Their story has to be told. And we've had a couple of interviews already this season from that avenue, not just us realizing, hey, this player needs to be talked to. We need to get a hold of this one. It was literally one of our fans at YSN reaching out to us and saying, hey, would you mind interviewing this person? I think their story needs to be told. And we never say no to that. We will never, ever, ever say no to that. We try to get to perfect world. We'd get to everybody, right? We'd interview everybody on every team. And that would be just the bee's knees. We obviously can't do that. We don't have the manpower to do that. But we try to get as many players and coaches as humanly possible highlighted during the season. So I stress that again. If you are out there and you want to be interviewed, make sure to get on our radar by sending us a message on any social media platform, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. If you message on Twitch, we've never gotten a message on Twitch, but if you're on Twitch and you're watching this on Twitch, hit us with a comment. Not on Snapchat, but we are on TikTok. So if you want to send us a message on TikTok for some reason and say you want to be interviewed, go right ahead to that too. So that being said, we're going to hop back into the scoreboard real quick and go over the games that are going to be on the network tonight and where you can watch them. Always ysnlive.com/live. And we'll also shout out the announcers that'll be out doing their thing tonight for you guys, bringing the best sports coverage in the area to you in an efficient manner. Thursday, September 7th, let's look at what we got. Volleyball, we have 5 games on the network tonight. Canfield hosting Austintown Fitch. Ty Bartell will be in enemy territory. Usually the Fitch guy, but he's going to Canfield. So interesting, Ty. Don't get beat up tonight. Promise me you won't. We are also going to be at the Mooney at Boardman game. Matt Marr will be on the call with Jordan Barber. As they leave the soccer, they've been really big on our soccer coverage but they will be in volleyball coverage tonight. I will be in Liberty for the first time this year as they take on LeBray. That is a big game for Liberty in the MVAC if they want to be contenders or prove that they can beat the top tier teams in the conference. They gotta get a win at home against LeBray for sure if they want to do that. Eric Hughes will go to Lowville as Waterloo comes to town. That one will be at 7 o'clock. He'll have you covered there. And then a big one in the EOAC between Southern and Wellsville. We're not missing it. Gary Altizer will be on hand for that one as well. We do have one soccer game on the network tonight, girls soccer. It'll actually be a school-run broadcast by Orange. We thank them for their hard work getting their broadcast up. They are hosting West Geauga tonight at 7 o'clock, so that girls soccer game will be on. One boys soccer game as well. Ursuline travels to Hubbard, and it will be Zach Svensson on the call for that one. So our announcers are a little bit everywhere. We have boys soccer on the network. We have girls soccer on the network. We have volleyball on the network, and you can find it all at ysnlive.com/live. Don't miss a minute of it, guys. There's this no better way to watch your favorite sports on ysnlive.com. It's not one game a week. We have 5 games tonight where we're breaking records everywhere. No one does it like we do. And make sure to go over to ysnlive.com/live. Check out your live list of games. And once again, like I said about the player profiles, if you're a team out there in the YSN family and you have a big game or you have something that you think YSN needs to be at, we try to have everything on our radar. We do, but sometimes we miss something. It's just the reality. So if you have a big game or a big moment, hey, this person's about to get a milestone, we love to be there for that. Make sure to reach out to us. We'll do our darn best to get an announcer out there so we can get that big moment on for you, because we love our YSN communities. We love our YSN family, and we want to do everything we can for you. That's why we always say here on Running Point, not only does Greenwood go the extra mile for you, we follow their lead. We go the extra mile for you. That doesn't just go for this show. It goes for YSN. We have guys out there that are taking their Thursday nights and taking their Wednesday nights, their Friday nights, their Saturday afternoons to cover you guys, because we love our communities. We love you guys. We love our audience so much. And we would gladly help if you reach out and say, hey, so-and-so's on a milestone night. So-and-so has maybe a coach has a milestone win coming up, anything like that. Or, hey, this one's usually on our radar. We're usually not blind to this, but hey, this is for first place in the league. You know, this is a big game for conference standings. Make sure to hit us up with that too, so we don't miss it, because we never want to miss stuff, right? We want to know when stuff is going on. So if you're out there and you think that YSN needs to be at a game, don't be afraid to send us a message on any of our social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I will hit you back, and I will message you back. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Every day I get a great audience, and I love that you spend your lunch hour with me talking about local sports. We love it. We love the avenue that we're able to do. So this will do it for Running Point today. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 to 2. It's Football Friday. You know what that means. We dive into the football. We are all about football on Fridays, and we will have a great show for you tomorrow for that. 1 to 2 on Running Point. Brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.